Hey guys, it's Theo and Rach with a Place for Family podcast, and I'm in my cardigan.
It's not a
And
cardigan.
It's been months. What is
It's
it?
been
Like a
4 months.
varsity?
It's like
Varsity
I don't
sweater.
know. I guess it's kind of a cardigan, but not really.
Yeah,
It's got like snaps. I would say it's a jacket.
a
A
jacket.
light jacket.
Light jacket. We're back. It's been a while. It's been months, and
hope
we're excited to share with you what the Lord has been doing with our family. We can't wait to share what God is planning on doing with us in 25. And there's just a lot of cool things that
Do
have
we
happened.
know what he's doing with us?
I mean, we know a few
No, I'm
things.
just kidding.
Yeah, what we do know, we'll share. It's ever unfolding. I mean, isn't that the way it is for everybody? Like, you think you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's a life of faith.
And you don't.
In the journey.
Yeah.
And trust. Want to do a 10 recap?
Let's do a 10 recap. You look amazing.
10 to school.
I love your hat.
Thanks.
Revival starts with family.
Yeah.
Revival starts with family.
This is a company. So actually one of our students bought this for me.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Tiffany.
All right, so why don't you, first of all, let me say this. Before we jump into the 10 recap, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for every one of you who sowed into the ministry and sowed into our family. That you would believe so much that family is the greatest institution in the earth, that revival truly does start with family, sustained in the home. It goes from one generation to the next within the four walls of what we call home. You have no idea what it meant to feel the support prayerfully, but financially. You guys saying, hey, we want to sow into this. We want to stand with you guys throughout the duration of this school. You families know who you are. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It meant the world to us, honestly. It felt like we were upheld during this time too. That was a step of obedience for us, and it was definitely out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Yep.
But it was a beautiful experience.
Looked a lot different than we thought. We've never done anything like this before.
No.
Well, we've always brought people into our home. We've always enjoyed serving people and that kind of stuff. Yeah. We've just never had people coming over for 3 months.
No. that was different. That was new.
It was fun though. I mean,
it was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
I think I wrote it on one of the Instagram things. It was so many, there's not one word to describe it. It was beautiful and refining.
Yes.
It was stretching. Uncomfortable.
Yep. It was tiring.
Yep. It was exhausting and almost like the most fulfilling way.
Yeah. And then yet
and it was fruitful.
Those moments we had with the Lord, I will never forget.
Like
no. I think as much as we thought we were going to be pouring into the students, I feel like we were being discipled by the Lord as well.
Yeah.
Like, really didn't the Lord tell you that this was going to be for you as much as it would be for them?
Yeah. So leading up to the school, we've told the story before, but we've always longed to have a large piece of land to be able to host families and have a school similar to Tend School. But I don't think we ever dreamed about it that as far as actually stepping into it. We thought we had a plan where everything would line up the way we wanted it to line up, that we would have a big property, we would have cabins to host people and, a large staff, and it would just really come together and be great. But we really felt like the Lord was like, I actually want you to get started with what I've placed in your hands.
5 loaves, 2 fish.
Yes, which is a really scary feeling because we didn't feel ready, and my personality does not do well with that sometimes. So I was really being stretched before the school. And we had moved. We had found 23 acres that was perfect for the school and perfect for our family. And during that moment, we just started trying to get everything together practically for everybody to come. We were preparing spiritually, interceding for the people that would be coming. We had a lot of roadblocks when it comes to housing in this area. As whoever is local knows, this area is extremely expensive. But things started to come together. We had a family step up and say the Lord spoke to them to host a family and 2 girls who had come as missionaries from overseas. And so it just started to kind of unravel in a good way.
It unraveled, but then it all came together last minute.
Yeah, unraveled was maybe the wrong word.
I think one of the things that we learned was, number one, when the Lord asks you to do something, do it. You're never going to feel ready. I know that's cliche. We always say that. There's never like the ideal time. This definitely did not fall in the ideal time for our family.
in so many ways.
We were in transition of housing. We initially thought we were going to have a property when we first came to Tennessee. That did not work out for us, but it worked out in a different way. But we were still left with literally days. We have people coming in from all over, and we have to find a spot. We thankfully found a spot. But then while we were even stewarding the moment and doing our best to tend to the hearts of those that the Lord sent us through the school, are like, waking up in the morning, and like the first day we wake up, the kids, this is like, there's no staff. We're like, yeah, we would love staff, but our staff was our family, literally. So
Our boys were the
Henry's
staff.
on stovetop, so he's doing eggs, he's
I mean,
doing
he's a great
sausage.
cook.
Theo is getting the outside ready, and that is a lot. Caleb is a jack of all trades. He's doing a little bit of everything. Wherever there's help that is needed, he runs right to it. And
Levi's making messes.
yep, Levi's all over the place. And mommy is getting the house looking
I'm
nice and pretty
freaking out.
and trying to figure out how we're going to do this. We have over 20 people. We have one small little bathroom. What's going
Yeah,
on?
I'm doing weird things like I need to have specific flowers that are going to make them feel welcome when they
Yeah.
come. And it hit a point where we were feeling like I had asked the Lord for us to just have everything in order for our family before the school, and that just didn't happen. And so I remember the first day of the school, everything kind of like it was wild in
Oh,
there.
we burnt. Okay, so the first day, Henry,
Burnt eggs.
he burnt the eggs. Well, he hasn't cooked for 20 something people. So like when we have to do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday night we had dinner. So this is the first day he's burning the eggs. We have never had our coffee
You spilled the
overflow. I
coffee.
spilled the coffee, which
If
leads me to
anybody was
this.
going to spill coffee, it would be me,
Yeah,
but he spills the coffee.
it feels like just total chaos the first day. And
Yeah.
before everyone comes in, we wanted worship music. We wanted an atmosphere of God's
And then
presence.
this is
We
so
wanted all of this,
silly.
so when
I'm
they
going to be
walk in, they
vulnerable. It's
collide.
like super embarrassing, but I I want this beautiful property, but this property that we got had I've never seen so many species of insects and critters in my entire
It's the woods.
existence.
If you only knew. She
And I'm
hates bugs.
thinking,
Like,
I know my face. Like if I am irritated or I'm feeling
yeah,
overwhelmed, it's just no one's gonna feel like my biggest heart was for people to feel
loved,
at home.
welcome,
First of all, you have
find
people that
rest.
have brought their kids and their families. They're at a point, some of them, not all of them, but some of them have hit a point of real stress in life where
Yeah,
they are asking the Lord to intervene in their marriage or
yeah.
their family. And so they're coming from overseas. We had several people from overseas. Um, and so I'm just thinking, like, I know what that feels like to come and be like scared
Yeah,
and
it's not
step out
like you're
in
going. You gotta
faith.
understand, you're not going to some like church. You're coming to our house. So you're coming to someone's home. This is going to be home for you for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And
My heart was like
we
aching for
wanted
them
it
in
to
that
be
way.
just so like amazing, like when the first impression, but it wasn't. So much so that
Well, I was
we
going to tell about the
tell them
bugs.
about the bugs, and then I'm gonna show them
So
the shirt.
the flies are coming in, and I really hate flies. We lived in Texas before, and I thought the flies were bad there, but this is like another level. And as I'm walking in, I really feel like I feel the Holy Spirit impress upon my heart strongly. This is going to be as refining for you as it is for the students, and I'm going to stretch you.
Yeah,
And after this 3 months, you're going to be changed for the better.
yeah,
And I had been praying some specific prayers that actually have to do with hospitality. And I've always really longed to be a place of welcoming for people, but I have a side of me that I like things a specific way, and I can get easily stressed. But I had been like laying that before the Lord leading up to the school and saying, "Hey, I don't want this. Like I really hunger to be somebody that's like laid back and can really be welcoming." And so as the flies were coming in and as I'm feeling the Holy Spirit kind of, I feel like almost like I'm being not laughed at in a bad way, but kind of like, "Hey, I'm going to take care of you."
yeah.
I feel like the weight of the Lord come on my body and like de-stress me. So all this to say that I really felt that the Lord met us in like the
Uh-huh.
smallest detail.
He did.
Yeah.
This well, yeah. He met us. It was amazing. It was beautiful chaos.
It
Let me
was.
tell you
It's a
that.
good way to
It
put it.
was the most. It was the greatest thing that we've ever done as a family. It was the greatest time of ministry that I've ever experienced, and since we started over 20 years, there was something about bringing people into your home through life on life discipleship that absolutely changed our lives forever.
Yeah.
And we want to do it again and again and again. So much so that we have plans for 2025 that we can't wait to share with you. But we also have the Lord sent us, because it was our family at first, and the Lord sent us this most amazing family, the Arsenaults. They came in and they helped carry so much weight, so much so that on Friday night Shabbats, they brought it to their house. They helped us with breakfast. They came in, they
Pastry
provided gifts for the
deliveries. I mean, it
student
was
body. They helped it. They bought
unbelievable.
a fridge for it. Like everything that we needed. They went on Costco runs for us because,
They actually came in 3 weeks prior. Our family was
yeah,
incredibly sick. Our boys, we were really discouraged
yeah,
because we were physically sick, and then it just was really rough.
yeah,
And the husband started showing up just every day. And
yeah,
I was like, what's he doing here?
yeah.
And he was like fixing things,
Helping,
just
climbing
wouldn't leave
trees.
us alone in the best
Yeah.
way.
That's the other
The
thing you
boys
don't
were like, wow, he's like, this is amazing.
that's the other thing you don't realize. With the property comes maintenance. In addition to that, when you're feeding over 20 people every, 3 or 4 days a week, then you have shopping runs. So he would do like the Costco runs. All in all, just to say, the Lord sent them to
They
us.
were a
We could
real
not have done this
gift.
without them. They were an absolute gift to our family, and we get to do it together with them. They actually, we shared with them that we wanted to do a 10 shirt, and they had somebody design our 10 shirt for our graduating class. That these are available. I think I have a few left, but if you are interested in one of these, send us a message and we'll see if we can't get one to you. But it's kind of cool. So I don't know if you can see it. We can try to zoom in on it, but you're going to see there's a cowboy, there's burnt eggs for the day one, there's coffee
It says ride home,
all over the place. A chapel. We have a little prayer cottage.
burnt coffee, spilled coffee and burnt eggs. And then there's a little prayer cottage. And then here's Zechariah. This verse actually talks about not despising small
Yeah.
beginnings, like the
Yeah.
Lord being pleased with those things. So it's just really, really sweet,
Yeah,
really
so it
thoughtful.
was amazing. The testimonies are going to continue to unfold through 25. We're going to be doing some interviews with some students and seeing what it was like for them, what they came in with, what the Lord did while they're there, how they're doing now, all those kinds of things. With that all being said, we have some plans for 25. We know that we want to do all we can to awaken the reality of what Jesus desires to do in the earth, and the place that he wants this to be fostered and cared for is the place that we call home. We want revival to hit the earth. We want to see stadiums full, of course. We want to see, every church filled, lines getting into the building. We want to see all that. However, what we have realized is in order for it to be sustained and in order for it to go from one generation to the next, that public touch, you got to understand every person in the upper room went back home. If that place that they call home is not a place where what they've experienced can be watered, then it typically dies with a generation.
Yeah,
So that
that's good.
generation will experience a mighty move of the Lord. It dies with that generation because Deuteronomy tells us that the desire of the Lord is to see this go from one generation to the next, and he tells us how to make it happen. When you're home, talk about me. When you're on, your way, talk about me. When people walk in, what he's trying to explain here is he's trying to say, hey, listen, I want your children to know who I am, and I want them to then carry it to their children so they can know. It can go from glory to glory. So because of that, we feel like we found the place that we really desire to minister from, and that place would be the living room. The place would be the home.
The
Now,
table.
the table. We can't bring people in like we want to. We realized that we were also limited there in regards to how many we could accommodate. We also realized that we want to do it in smaller settings
Yeah. On
because we
top
want
of
it to
that,
be
it was
intimate.
just the intentionality. I think we learned a lot with that because we didn't think 14 was that much, but it did feel like, we eventually obviously will have staff and God will add to our team. He's already beginning to do that and it's beautiful, but the intentionality it takes to really pour in your
Yeah,
life and just have that time.
well, just to get to know somebody, there has to be. You can't have too many hearts around the table and expect to know everybody's heart. That's the numerics are really important. So what we found our sweet spot would be, you know, 12 to
12.
15, 12 to 16 people right around there. We can break bread together. We can have meals together. We can hear each other's hearts. We can kind of give almost like give people an opportunity to get to know us, at the same time allow us the opportunity to get to know them.
It gives the people that attend as well to have those bonding moments too.
Yes.
It's just a nice
Yeah.
setup
So
for around the
smaller
table as
smaller
well.
pockets, and instead of expecting everybody to come here to Tennessee, beginning to take this on the road to a certain degree. And we want to visit different states, and we want to create space and get homes. And so we'll find a home. Let's say we go to Texas, we find a home in Texas. And for those of you who are interested, you couples who are interested in coming and being a part of what it is that the Lord is doing with 10 School, we're going to have these 10 intensives, and we'll have a Thursday night dinner, a Saturday, breakfast, a lunch, and
Friday. You forgot
I'm
Friday.
sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So a Thursday night, a Friday all day, and then a Saturday brunch. It's going to be basically be like a sneak peek into what we were doing over the last 3 months, and hopefully it provokes you and your family to tend to the heart of Jesus, tend to the heart of your home, and live life from the inside out. And
Yeah.
so we want to bring you around our table. So be on the lookout, because we're going to be letting you know where we will be. As you can imagine, with the space being so limited, it's going to go pretty fast. So if you are interested, in you and your spouse, or your
Engaged or married
engaged
couples,
or
right?
married couples, yes, your fiance,
So tend
want to
with Tend
attend,
School, we had singles. We opened it up to families, singles. It was amazing,
and
and
we'll
we
have
loved
we'll
every.
have specific things for singles, because it's
Yeah,
important. We I mean, we had the most amazing singles as a part
yeah,
of our
it
thing.
was
So
incredible.
we don't want to limit that, but initially we're going to open it up to husbands and wives, people who are about ready to get married. And the reason that is, right now we just feel an urgency to minister to that space right now. But like I said, we still are going to make sure that we provide opportunities for people who are not married to be equipped, so that when they step into marriage, they can take these beautiful revelations and skill sets into their marriage and their relationships as
We
well.
are going to do another Tend School.
We
We
just
just are
haven't,
really praying into the timing of it,
yeah,
and we want to have our land to be able
yeah,
to do host to be, just to be able to do it
we do.
in a different way.
Yeah. So what we do know right now, as far as what 25, what it's going to look like, as far as we know, of course, there can be other things that the Lord adds in. What we do know is this: we know that we're going to be doing these intensives, these 10 intensives, and we're going to be taking them into various areas. We could be coming to your state, your hometown, whatever it might be. We're going to get a house, and we're going to bring people into that house. We're going to break bread. We're going to worship together in the living room. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to pour into you, love on you, and hopefully equip you to take something beautiful into your own homes. That will happen. So be on the lookout. We're going to schedule that out for 25. We also know that we're going to be stewarding this resource, this podcast, better than we have up to this point. We're going to be getting a bit more tight and concise with our content. So it's not going to be the 20, 30-minute segments that we've done before. We're going to bring it in. We're probably going to do 8 to 10-minute segments, really doing our best to kind of give you some meat up front and allow you to receive quickly, and so that you can retain that as well. But also, you're not sitting in front of a TV the whole time trying to listen to what we have to say. We are also going to do some interviews and bring people in, some other voices, which I think will also be beautiful and beneficial. And then we have a table talk book that we want to
We're working on
publish this year. We're going
a
to work
coffee
on it.
table
A
book.
coffee table book. Explain a little bit about that.
So with Tend School, which we didn't really get to do the recap, maybe we can do that on another episode. But Tend School was basically we worked through its discipleship, life on life discipleship, teaching people to tend to the heart of the Lord and tend to the heart of their home. So with that came everything that you can think of that happens in a home. So teaching people how to fight right, how we take communion on a daily basis and how we make it the one of the most important parts of our day. Stewarding the presence of the Lord in your
Mm-hmm.
home in worship and in bringing your children into those spaces, or your family, teaching the foundational things like why is it so important that the presence of the Lord is the number one thing in your home. How do you do that? How do you bring your children into that? And so a lot of things that we covered, actually there was more. There was things about purity. We talked a lot about pornography
Mm-hmm.
and how do we keep our eyes on
And abuse,
Jesus.
sexual
Yeah,
abuse, there's a
sexual
lot.
abuse and things that people like, certain things just do not. We are such a big like supporter and love. We love the local church. We
Yeah,
belong to the local church. Like we're
absolutely.
passionate about our church and we're submitted to our pastors and in a ministry. But what I feel so strongly is that some things only come to the light in this small space.
Yeah,
Not necessarily in a large church setting, but around the table and in a small space where God's given room to move in that way.
yeah,
So
that's
what ended
very
up
good.
happening
Very
in
true.
those moments where things begin to stir, and it was not Theo and I, it was the Holy Spirit in those moments where we were worshiping and we were talking about difficult things like pornography, where things begin to just come up in
Yeah,
the students and people that had gone through things that they had never felt necessarily comfortable sharing with anybody else. And it just created like a spiritual place for people to be able to
yeah,
heal. And that was like where most of the
yeah,
freedom came from,
yeah.
were those moments. And it was
This
really, really important.
that's exactly what we want to recreate to a certain degree with the 10 intensives. Is we realize small space, small numerics provide an opportunity for vulnerability,
Yeah.
transparency. We had some of our students sharing things with us that they've never shared with anyone else
Hmm.
in the entire world, their entire life, which was
It
wild,
was holy.
completely holy. And so,
I think that was an important thing that I had wanted to mention before was we had someone come to us and say the Lord spoke to them to capture the school so that we could kind of steward what was going
mhm,
on and show people and kind of, that's how you basically that's the system we live in where you show kind of those moments and that's how you get stuff people for your next school.
yeah,
But it was crazy because we really felt like the fear of the Lord in not showing everything. And we felt
yeah,
like it was supposed to be a sacred space where people could heal and be set free. And we did not feel we felt like we could show a little bit to steward it well, but we really didn't feel like we were supposed to show everything that
yeah,
went on
yeah,
because it was holy. And I think people getting set free is not always to be on
yeah.
display.
I think, like when you think about how there's not enough books that could obtain all that Jesus has done or did in his ministry. What we have is just a few little snippets. And even within the snippets that we read about in the Gospels, it doesn't give a lot of detail as to the backdrop and or the stories attached to each person involved in the reading. I think there's something to keeping things sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Only celebrating what needs to be celebrated when the Lord asks you, but keeping things private. And so we wanted to create that space for them
Yeah.
to be able to say, hey, we understand what's happening here. This is a holy moment, like you said. This is a sacred moment. And we don't want you to feel like there's going to be a camera in your face
Yeah.
as something beautiful is beginning to happen. However, we also want to be able to understand that the Lord wrote it down
Yeah.
things for us to be able to share with generations that could understand who God is and how beautiful He is and what
Mm-hmm.
God has done for one, He can do for all. And so we
And
we
we want to
are
bring people
we
into
are
that
bringing people
freedom.
into that space. But one of the reasons we did not capture it live and do that is because we really wanted to leave room for God to do what He needed to do in these sacred holy spaces. However, we will be showing some of the we have just a few stills we took. We captured some video, but the majority of it we want it to come from them. We want them to be able to testify as to what the school meant to them, what happened there, and so we can't wait to share those with you as well as the students share their testimonies.
I would add to where with us being really passionate about the local church, we really feel to be a support, which is why we are making these intensive Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, because Sunday is an important day for the house of the Lord.
For
And
us
we
as
know
well.
that for us as well.
I love the church.
But if we kind of felt from the Lord to go on a hunger basis. And so we have a few places that we know have been stirred in our hearts, and we've had people ask us to come. And then the rest, we're going to kind of see what the Lord unfolds this year, like where, if your church is hungry for this, or you feel like this could be important for your staff, to bring us in, like that's something that we're really open to right now. We're kind of laying before the Lord, where do you want us to go? And we want to be available for that. We think it's very important for the local church. I would say the content of what is going on in a room, in a home, when this is happening is going to be worship and a place of freedom and deliverance.
Mm,
This is not just come and get some information, although there will be beautiful information, but that's not what happened at 10 school. It was a real place of freedom for God to go deep into our roots,
Mm-hmm.
and the Holy Spirit to really heal deep rooted
Yes.
places. And I think like that is what we feel most passionate about, is not just to like have small talk about how marriage and family are important, but to talk about these real things like pornography, that it's such a huge
Or
issue.
like
It's so
the
prevalent.
abuse side of
But
things where
yeah,
people haven't shared
real
their
like
abuse
just
yet.
I use pornography as an example because it's so prevalent in this day and age, and a lot of people just don't know what to do, and so they just shove it under the carpet, or we just call it normal, and it's not a normal thing. And so just if you're struggling and you're a husband and a wife and you're going through this, like we want to create a safe place for freedom to happen. Or
Yes.
if you're engaged and you're scared about the future because your fiance struggles with this, like you don't need to bring these things into your marriage. There's a place of freedom and deliverance that I believe the Lord makes available.
Yes.
And so that's what we want to be. I would say like a place where we get into like the nitty gritty of
Yeah.
things, like really talk about the reality of
The messy stuff.
inside the
Yeah.
home. Yeah, the messy stuff.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
important.
So we're really excited about that. There'll be more information coming in regards to that. But the book, real quick, share with just kind of
So
where that
very,
came from.
very, yeah. So where it came from was wherever we go, or with Tend School, or when we meet with like a family, we're often asked for content.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, do you have anything you can give me? Like, what does it look like to have communion with your
Yeah.
family? What does it look like? What does gathering around the table look like? How do you create,
Yeah.
a place for the Lord in your
Yeah.
home? And so we just kind of,
Yeah.
in all
And
simplicity, just realized we didn't have anything.
we don't have content right now. We're gonna do our best to steward that and create some. Um, but really, even with the book, it would be. I want to be careful how I phrase this. And almost like a how-to guide. However, we are not experts, so we're simply going to share what God has shared with us, and maybe it's something you adopt and it creates a beauty in your home, or maybe it's something that causes you to look into it and you see it a different way, and you can still execute something that helps your home get to a place of health. But the whole idea would be a how-to guide: how to steward the presence of the Lord in your home, how to lead your family in communion, how to have conversations with your spouse,
Difficult conversations
how
with your
to fight,
teens and
yeah, how to fight right, how to make up, how to repent before your children, how to have messy conversations. Remember, one of the reasons why my oldest son Theo didn't come to us initially when he was struggling with pornography was because he said, it's not that I didn't feel I couldn't come to you guys, I could come to you with everything. He just said, you never taught me how to have messy conversations. And so we realized, wow, that's something we want to make sure we can help other families have, having awkward conversations, teaching people to prioritize each other, prioritize the hearts around the table. All of those things will be coming, and we're going to do our best to throw it into a book that you can keep in your home and that you can glean from.
yeah.
And so please be praying for us, because we really want to finish this by the end of the year, and we want to
We
do
want to
our
do it with
best.
excellence. We want
Yeah.
it to be a beautiful, like rich book that can
Yes.
sit on your coffee table, that you can just open up
Yep.
and just feel like the life of God over your family. And I would say less of a how to and more like, what is that saying when you just like the way Jesus was like so acquainted with our brokenness. I think we've walked through brokenness,
Yeah.
in that is something you want to like give to other people,
Yeah.
like things we learned because of
sounds way better. Yeah,
brokenness.
that sounds way better.
But I
Yeah.
know I agree with you. It's something like, I just know for me, I would love I often glean from books where I can sit and, I'm reading a book right now about how to slow down, and the importance of rest and
Yeah.
the importance of the Sabbath, as well as the rhythms of your home, which I've read this book already. I'm really passionate about slowing down, but like I have found our pace.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ongoing forever thing that you kind of want to like keep in front of you. So having a book like that, just to be able to be like, man, we had a heart to like have communion every day this year, and we just haven't been doing that. So how do we get back to the things that matter most to our family? And so that's what this book will be about.
I'm excited about it. So 25 is going to look amazing. Please make sure to stay connected with us on social, because that's where we're going to be sharing the majority of our information. We will have a website. Obviously, we have tendschool.org. We have a placeforfamily.co. That information will be shared there. But for the most part, we're really going to leverage social media as a platform to communicate where we're going to be and what we're doing. Also, one of the things that was brought to our attention in 24, and we shied away from it, and we've been corrected multiple times because of it, was, hey, Theo, let us know how we can help. How can we stand with you guys financially? How can we support you? And I think we've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and we really just didn't want to pressure anybody in having to do anything for us. However, we realize after having come out of this last year, the cost associated to loving people and bringing people into your home, the cost associated to feeding people, and getting this content out and creating books and doing podcasts and buying more equipment. There's just a lot that is needed in order for us to do this right with excellence and to try to get this message out to as many people as possible, which is Jesus wants to invade your home. He wants to make your home a dwelling place, and he wants our children to know how amazing he is, and we want to be able to share this with our children so they can share it with their children, and this can go from one generation to the next. So if you are looking to support a ministry, a cause is we're going to do our best to fortify and set every family up for success. And if that means something to you and you feel connected with what we're doing and you would like to stand with us, please do so. You can visit us at aplaceforfamily.co. There is a partner page there, a giving section. You're more than welcome to give a one-time gift, or you can stand with us monthly. That would be amazing. But we would love for you to prayerfully consider standing with us. So be on the lookout. We're going to be sharing more information in the days ahead. We're so happy to be back. I know this was a longer one. The ones ahead will not be as long as this one, but it was a recap. We've been gone for months and we had a lot to share. So we just want to get it all out there. We love you guys very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.